the European elections, the elections that weren't meant to happen, were they, after Brexit, happen next week, Thursday. And we're going to be speaking to each of the political parties here on Breakfast.
Yeah, we've spoken to quite a few already. Today is the turn of UKIP. We're going to talk now to Richard Braine, the party's EU Parliamentary candidate for London, who is in our London newsroom. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on.
What is UKIP standing for at the moment?
Well, UKIP stands first and foremost for complete withdrawal from the European Union, and we've been campaigning for that for 27 years. So we are the real party of Brexit, and with any luck, that is going to be delivered sometime very soon. It is a disgrace that these elections are being held, because they should not be held. It's more than 3 years now since we voted. It's about 3 years since we voted to leave the European Union. And unfortunately, our Parliament has simply wasted the last 3 years doing everything it could to stop us leaving.
You're not the only party, though, trying to push for Brexit. There's the Brexit Party, led by Nigel Farage.
That's right. Nigel could have led UKIP again if he'd wanted to. The thing is that UKIP has an elected NEC, and it's a very democratic party, and he didn't like some of the decisions that the elected board took. And so my view is that that's primarily why he's left. He wants to have a sort of feudal fiefdom. He has no members.
I wasn't actually asking about what you thought of Nigel Farage. I was saying that you are not the only Brexit party. There is the Brexit Party. You said UKIP is the Brexit Party. It's not.
Well, I think
and the Brexit Party appears to be much more popular than UKIP.
UKIP, in my opinion, is the only party that can deliver Brexit, because it's the only party that has actually published a plan on how to do it. We have a published manifesto. We have a very active democratic system within the party, and we have councillors, and we have the determination to do it, which is the most important thing. Who's
going to be UKIP's next leader? If everything's so clear, who's the next leader of UKIP?
My guess would be Gerard Batten. We have a leadership election soon, and I think that the party is very much behind him, and I think he's been a very, very successful leader of the party. His membership is now up to 30,000, and it's growing fast. I see that in my own branch. So I think he's being very successful. I think he should continue. Long may he continue, is all I can say.
Mr. Batten has selected a number of right-wing YouTubers as candidates for the European elections, and according to the Guardian newspaper, they encourage followers to join a hate-filled social media platform which is used by the perpetrator of an anti-Semitic massacre that left 11 Jewish worshippers dead in the United States last year. Have you read this article? Are you aware of it? Can you comment on it?
One, I haven't read the article. Two, it seems to me that you're trying to find a very tenuous link across the internet. Everything is linked together on the internet in one way or another. But in fact, the YouTubers who have joined UKIP generally are not right-wing at all. That's quite false. I mean, if you look at Mark Meakin, he's not at all right-wing. I would say he was broadly left-wing, in fact. And Carl Benjamin isn't right-wing. I would say he's more or less a liberal, would be the best way to describe his politics. And if people go onto YouTube and watch his thousands of hours of very interesting discourse, they'll see what I'm talking about. So these people are not right-wing, and the use of far-right is a very lazy media term for, frankly, working-class concerns, and it's an effort to smear UKIP by pretending that we're somehow connected with extremist activity or extremists, and we're not. I reject more or less all of what you've just said.
Okay, let me quote the person you think is going to be party leader, Gerard Batten. He has said that UKIP should become, and I quote, a radical populist party.
Radical is not the same as extremist. It means that you wish to get to the root of the matter, and that's very important. Margaret Thatcher was a radical. Tony Benn was a radical. So I think you might be misinterpreting the word radical there.
Do you think UKIP can clean up its image?
Yeah, well, I think that's down to the press. The press obviously has put a great effort into the moment at smearing us. We continue to put forward an excellent manifesto and policies. We continue to compete. And in the end, I think that people will recognise that we are a democratic party that's not going to disappear. We are going to be here. We are going to keep fighting at all levels, local, Westminster, EU Parliament if necessary, unfortunately, and we are going to keep fighting. So I think people will increasingly return to the party, particularly when they find that the Brexit Party fails to deliver real Brexit, and we end up with fake Tory Brexit too.
I'll tell you why I asked this. OK, you can blame the media. That is your view, and you're perfectly entitled to your view. But the party has suffered a funding crisis. You've been saved from insolvency with public donations. Where's the money coming from now?
Well, now we've got 30,000 members, don't forget, who contribute their annual subscriptions. And we also get donations from other people. For instance, we had a very generous donation from the lead candidate for London of the Brexit Party. And I think that donations will increasingly come back to the party. We're not funded by big business or the unions like the Tories and Labour. And we have to rely on real grassroots support. Small business people are very keen on UKIP because we have excellent policies for small business. So I think we will continue to grow. Funding is coming in more and more. And the trough that we had at the beginning of last year was primarily because Mr. Farage had frankly run the party into the ground and supported some very, very bad leadership candidates. So I think we're out of that. He's left the party now, and I think the situation is going to improve for us. Especially as people realise that the Brexit Party doesn't allow members voting, doesn't have a manifesto.
Your funding peaked at £7 million in 2014. Roughly, how do the coffers look now in comparison?
I can't say, but we're doing fine, and we're in the black, and we're doing fine. So there's no problem there. The membership's growing. That's an important part of our funding. And donations will continue to come in more and more, I think, as more and more people see that you're not going to get Brexit, real Brexit, delivered any other way.
Richard Braine, UKIP. Thank you from UKIP. Thank you very, very much for joining us.
Real pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on.